Okay, here we go. Another 5 minutes of Tefillah Baruch Hashem. Yesterday we began a new type of Tefillah called a Pilul, which literally means L'hispalel to daven. And we learned yesterday that there's two forms of this word found in Tanakh. One is that it means like rendering a judgment, that the Tefillah is making something happen. And the second, which is what we're in the middle of discussing, is that Tefillah is a hischabros, a connection between man and God, a conversation between man and his creator. And this sounds a bit abstract, but now Rav Shimshon Pincus, as always, paints this so beautifully and eloquently with a mashal. And he says, for example, you have a person that they tie a scarf over his eyes. He says, like children like to play. And you take this person with a scarf tied over his eyes, and you walk with him from the kitchen to the dining room, to the backyard, to the car. In each of the scenarios that he is standing, he can't see, can't hear, but he's in reality a different place. He started in the kitchen, now he's standing in the dining room. And now he's in a car, and he's in the middle of the field. And let's say they take this, you have this person with a scarf over his eyes, and they're taking him from location to location. Let's say they take this person, and they bring him in front of a king. The same guy, blindfolded, from the dining room to the kitchen, to the car, to the field, to the king. When he's standing in front of the king, he's in reality in a different place. He might not be able to see the king, but the place that he is standing is in front of the king. Sounds very obvious. He says kids sometimes paint this picture even further. And kids sometimes imagine, oh, let's pretend we're standing in China and we're on an airplane and we're here. So in the example of a child, that's not real. But if we were to, again, let's get the muscle straight. If we're blindfolding a person and we're walking with him from place A to B to C to D, in reality, whether he could see it or not, he's in a different place. Says, and therefore, if you were to take him and stand him in front of a king, he's in reality in front of the king. Says Rav Shimshon Pincus, what happens when we start davening Shemayna Esrei? All of Tefillah is incredible. All of Tefillah is lofty, and all of Tefillah is talking to God. But what is particularly Shemayna Esrei? Shemayna Esrei is the ultimate devekus and kirva, that you're talking to Hashem. And Rav Shimshon Pincus, and we'll conclude with one paragraph that I believe will paint this picture so beautifully, that this devekus, this connection with Hashem through tefillah, has two forms. Number one, that you're talking to God. That's regular tefillah. That's psukim zimra. That's birchas kriya shema. And number two is shemayna esrei be'ikar. Sha'azi ikar hadevekus, like it's paskin in Shulchan Aruch, like you're standing in front of the king. So that blindfolded person, when they stand him from the kitchen to the dining room to the car to in front of the king, in reality, there's a tangible reality of physical being that right now he's in front of the king. That is the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that whether we can feel it or not, whether we realize it or not, when we daven Shemayna Esrei, Hashem picks us up and places us in front of the king in reality. And he now says, imagine the following sight. He says, we have a chassid, we have an Oved Hashem. Let's use the example of Rav Chaim Kanievsky. You have Rav Chaim Kanievsky standing right here next to us, and he's davening Psukei de Zimra with Kavana. Incredible. Rav Melech Biederman. Let's use a living example. And he's sitting there, and he's davening, and the Kavanas, and like a Rav Melech davens. But he's in the middle of Psukei de Zimra. He's in the middle of a Nishmas on a Shabbos. And you davened in the earlier minyan. So what are you davening? You're davening Shemayna Esrei. Through the lens of God, you know what would be seen? You, simple Jew, I, mere mortal, standing in Shemayna Esrei, is on a different plateau, is in a different room of the palace. Rav Melech, with all his kavanas, only could reach one level of kirva, of connection to Hashem. But the moment we step into Shemayna Esrei, the moment we tap into Pilul, this type of tefillah, which is the connection, what happens? The Torah itself, the Chesed Elyon, says Rav Shimshon Pincus, picks us up, stands us in front of the king, whether we understand it or not, whether we realize it or not. And therefore, every word we say is that much greater. Every thought we have is that much greater. Every thought we don't have, every word that we don't say, every ability to beg, to plead, to talk, we're standing in front of the king. Pilul is this ultimate hischabros, this connection to Hashem, that b'siyata d'shemaya, the more that we'll think about it, the more that we'll conjure up the images, the more that we'll be able to feel this tangible reality that of what Shemoneh Esrei really is. Chaver, have a fabulous day. I apologize for the mere falling camera earlier.